Hi, this is Ken from Homebrew Audio. I just spent more than a week testing out and reviewing the Accusonus Era bundle, a collection of incredible tools for cleaning up vocal recordings, such as Noise Remover, Plosive Remover, and the Deesser, the big three for most vocal editing. And the bundle also includes Reverb Remover, Voice Leveler, and Declipper. I talk about all of those tools in the review, but I do focus on those big three. And all I had to say after reviewing this product is wow. Why wow? Two main reasons. First, because let's face it, most people recording vocals at home for podcasts, audiobooks, voiceover jobs, music, or just narrating their own videos, they're not audio engineers. They're authors, actors, singers, or entrepreneurs who just want a professional recording as quickly and easily as possible. When I start to mention things like frequency, EQ, or compression to my recording students, their eyes glaze over. Too much technical stuff. I hear it all the time. Well, with the Era bundle of tools, you do not have to learn a bunch of audio recording terms and concepts. All you really need to know how to do is turn a knob. Each tool is literally a single large knob on your computer screen that you adjust until you get things sounding just right. The second wow factor is how fast these tools work. Usually it takes a long time to edit just a short voice recording. Noise reduction, for example, is usually a process involving at least 5 steps. Highlighting just some noise in your audio recording, opening the noise reduction effect, clicking on the control that captures that noise, then closing the effect, selecting all the audio, opening noise reduction again, and then applying it. On top of all that, with most noise reduction effects, you're usually presented with a ton of options that are anything but easy to understand. What does all this stuff mean? Now let's take a look at the Era Noise Remover program. By contrast, here's a fairly noisy recording that I just made. It's got quite a bit of noise. That's just noise right there, you can see. And listen to it there. So I'm just going to select the whole thing and double click on it. And I'm going to open up Accusonus Era Noise Remover. And what you see is right there in the middle, a great big button. Just make sure it's set to factory default. That's the default setting, and that's usually going to be good enough. You probably won't even need to move that button. So unlike with a standard noise reduction effect, with Era, I don't have to highlight a section first and then sample that, etc. I literally just hit apply in the effect, and it just works. Before we do that, though, just to demonstrate, and I highly recommend listening to this with headphones so you can really hear it, I'll play some of this noise for you with the effect turned off. So let me highlight just the noise so you can just hear that. Turn the effect off, and here is what the noise sounds like all by itself. This would be an unacceptable amount of noise for a professional voiceover job, for example. Now listen to what happens when I turn the effect on. The noise is turned down so much that it's essentially inaudible. Now listen to how the voice sounds with the effect applied. This is a recording in my studio with quite a bit of noise going on in the background. It still sounds great. No odd side effects that are so common with noise reduction. So simply by opening this effect, without even turning the knob, just applying the factory default, but just so you can see how you might use the knob, I'll turn it all the way down to 0%. Let's go back and highlight just some of that noise over here. So it starts off very noisy, as you'd expect, because there's no effect being applied. And I'll dial in little by little some of the effect using the knob. Already noticeably quieter. So somewhere right in there sounds like it'd be just about right. Then all I need to do is hit the apply button to the entire file, and it's done. As amazing as the noise remover is, probably the biggest time saver of them all in this bundle is the Plosive Remover. Plosive is the fancy word for P-pop, and those are just the bane of voiceover recording as far as I'm concerned. Even when using a pop filter while recording, P-pops will almost always end up in your recording anyway. Most basic audio editing programs don't have a way to treat the entire file for P-pops at the same time like we did for noise reduction. So you basically have to use an EQ effect, like this, on every single P-pop in your recording separately. That takes a really long time. While doing this review, it took me 2 minutes and 45 seconds to clean up the P-pops, doing them the traditional way, one at a time for this particular file. Using the Era Plosive Remover, the same job took 10 seconds. So this tool alone reduced the time it takes to remove P-pops by 94%. So let's take a look at the Plosive Remover. This file has lots of P-pops in it, starting from the beginning. Take a listen here. Let's turn this all the way to 0. Plosives, or P-pops, so you can hear that those P's are pretty heinous. So let's go ahead and turn this down to 0, and I'm going to repeat just that and dial in a little bit more and a little bit more of the effect, and you can hear it start to work. Plosives, or P-pops, that's with no effect. Plosives, or P-pops, plosives, or P-pops, plosives, or P-pops. A little bit better there. Plosives, or P-pops, plosives, or P-pops, plosives, or P-pops, plosives, or P-pops, plosives, or P-pops. There, that sounds like enough to me. Now let's take a listen to before. Plosives, or P-pops, with the effect applied. Plosives, or P-pops. And one thing that's very cool is that you can see by the highlighted sections down here in the waveform section of the effect where the Plosive Remover is being applied. It's putting it right where these orange marks are. Plosives, or P-pops. And now I can just select the entire file, apply, and all the plosives will be taken care of. It's just that quick and that easy. Just mind-blowing. The third tool I will demo in this video is the Era Deesser. And just like the Noise Remover and Plosive Remover, this is a single knob plugin that helps you reduce harsh S sounds in your recording. I happen to have a voice mic combo that causes my S's to sound a bit too harsh and loud in my recording, so I definitely need a deesser. And as with noise reduction, a deesser is pretty common in audio editing software. But also, like noise reduction, the tools are often hard to understand if you don't know something about audio frequencies, bandwidth, EQ, and compression. Here is the built-in deesser with Adobe Audition. You note all of the terminology and tools that they give you options for here. Again, if you're not a techie or an engineer, you can find this really hard to understand. With the Era Deesser, you don't need to know any of that stuff. As with all these tools, adjust the single knob and it just works. Here's a recording I made that has some pretty harsh sounding S's in it. So let's take a listen to it without any deesser applied. I'll turn that off. This recording is to give the Accusonus deesser something to practice on. Okay, so that's without any deesser. Obviously it sounds like it needs a little. So let's try the default setting and see how that sounds. This recording is to give the Accusonus deesser something to practice on. That actually works okay, but there's a little bit of a weird sound to my S's in places like this. Actually sounds like I'm saying this a little bit. And that can happen if you put too much de-essing in. It can make you sound like you're lisping, or you can turn your S's into SH sounds. I'll turn it up higher and let you hear what I mean by that. This recording is to give the Accusonus deesser something to practice on. This recording is to give the Accusonus deesser. Clearly that's not good. Way too much de-essing. That's okay because we have this knob and we can dial in as much as we want. So let's start with 0 and dial it in until the S's sound natural. This recording is to give the Accusonus deesser something to practice on. This recording is to give the Accusonus deesser something to practice on. This recording is to give the Accusonus deesser something to practice on. That sounds just about right for me. Also note down here in the waveform view, just like with the Plosive Remover, the areas highlighted in green show you where the deesser is being applied, which is very cool. So now that I have just the right amount dialed in, I'm going to select all my audio and click apply. And now all those harsh S's sound like regular S's. The standard ERA bundle comes with 3 more tools. Reverb Remover, which can help reduce the amount of reverby, echoey sound from something recorded in an acoustically bad space. Voice Leveler, which can help even out volume if some of a voice recording is too loud and some of it is not loud enough. And Declipper, which can help restore normal sound if some audio overloaded the system when being recorded. Maybe it got distorted from being too loud. I talk about these other tools in the review on the Homebrew Audio site, which also has before and after audio samples. Plus, you can learn more about these tools on the Accusonus site, where they have demo videos on these tools as well. The Era bundle also has a Pro bundle, which gives you 2 additional tools. You get the Era D, which is a pretty amazing tool that combines room noise and reverb remover into one tool. Era D gives you lots of control over customizing the effect, which is great. It does require, though, that you have a little bit more technical knowledge than any of the standard tools. Era D is probably best suited for folks who work with lots of audio recorded in bad acoustic spaces, especially if you can't control where those recordings were made. The other tool in the Pro bundle is the Deesser Pro. This tool gives you more control over the de-essing process than the one in the standard bundle, such as focus and shaping controls, which allow you to zero in on different frequencies and help you apply the effect more strongly or more softly with the shaping tool. If you're interested in digging in deeper and learning more, or to purchase your own copy of the Era bundle, visit Accusonus at accusonus.com.